Hi, I'm Jose Armenta, and this is your Federal Employee Benefits, where we cover topics aimed at helping first federal employees like you make smart financial decisions. Today, we're discussing how federal employees can withdraw from their TSP early, specifically the age 55 and 50 rule. Now, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first, let's cover the general rule. Okay, the general rule is that you cannot withdraw from your TSP before age 59 and a half. Okay, and most folks are aware of that. And it's actually not a TSP rule, it's not specific to a TSP. It's a rule imposed by the IRS on tax advantage and retirement accounts. So thinking of 401k, IRAs, right? These type of tax advantage accounts have that restriction that you cannot withdraw from them before age 59 and a half without being hit with a 10% penalty. Okay. Now the good news is that there are a few exceptions, which is what we're going to cover here today. We're going to cover one of those exceptions. Okay. Now one important point is that although we're going to cover an exception that will allow you to withdraw from your TSP without being hit with the 10% penalty, okay, if you're withdrawing from a tax deferred account, so for instance, the traditional TSP, you're still going to need to pay taxes when you withdraw, right? Because those monies have not been taxed. So just something to keep in mind. We're discussing how to avoid the 10% penalty, not how to avoid taxes due on tax deferred accounts. Okay, so what is this exception? What is this rule regarding age 55? So the rule, the exception to the 10% penalty, right, to withdrawing before 59 and a half and not being hit with the 10% penalty, is that if you separate from service, okay, if you leave the federal government, if you retire, and you do so in the year that you turn 55, so you don't have to be 55 yet, but as long as you are in the year, let's say it's January 1st in the year that you turn 55, okay, and you separate from service, that you can withdraw from your TSP and avoid the 10% penalty, okay? Now, this is unique to employer-sponsored plans, okay, the TSP, 401ks, that sort of thing. It does not apply to the IRA, okay? So this is a word of caution and a mistake that I see a few federal employees make, okay? So if you want to utilize this exception, if you plan on separating in the year you turn 55, okay, or older, and you separate from federal service, and you start withdrawing from your TSP, okay, and you're avoiding the 10% penalty, do not roll that over to an IRA if you're under 59 and a half, okay, because the IRA does not have this exception. So if you roll over your TSP funds to an IRA, and let's say you're 57, okay, and you're utilizing this exception, you're making withdrawals from the TSP and avoiding the 10% penalty. If you roll that over, if you transfer those funds to an IRA, you will now be under the IRA rules, which do not have this exception. Okay, so a word of caution there. If you plan on utilizing this exception, ensure that you keep the funds in the TSP until you're at least age 59 and a half. Okay, now what's this about the age 50 rule? Okay, now this rule, okay, we covered age 55. The age 50 rule only applies to special category employees, okay? It's basically the same type of rule for regular federal employees at age 55, but for special categories employees, they have a more lenient rule. So they can separate from federal service in the year they turn 50 and start taking withdrawals from their TSP penalty free, okay? So if you're a law enforcement firefighter, right, a special provision federal employee, then you can withdraw penalty free from your TSP in the year you turn 50. Now also, okay, recently there was some rule changes. If you meet the requirement for retirement, okay, so if you're a special category employee, let's say you're law enforcement, and your rules for retiring are you can retire at any age with 25 years of service, right, or at age 50. If you're eligible to retire as a special category employee under age 50, so let's say you have 25 years and you're retiring at 47, you are now allowed to withdraw from the TSP penalty free. Okay, so for special categories of employees, if you're eligible to retire from the federal government, then you'll be eligible to withdraw from your TSP penalty free. Now keep in mind, same word of caution. If you're doing this, if you're withdrawing from the TSP under these exceptions, you're not going to want to roll over these funds, transfer these funds to an IRA. Okay, you're going to want to wait until you meet the age 59 and a half rule, because that's the rule that will be applied to you when you have your funds in an IRA. Okay, so word of caution, keep that in mind. Utilizing one of these exceptions, the age 55 or age 50 exception, if you're a special category employee, is a great way to tap into your TSP before age 59 and a half. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when you retire, okay, you're retiring early, you may be in retirement for 30, 35 years in retirement. So when you start, if you're starting to pull from your TSP early, before age 60, just make sure that you have a plan in place so that you're not going to deplete your TSP funds during retirement, right? So a lot of folks retiring before 60 are going to be in retirement for 35 plus years. And so you want to ensure that you have a plan in place that will help you avoid depleting your TSP before the end of your retirement, okay? I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. That's the best way to support this channel. And until next time, I'm Jose Armenta. Take care.